Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Ricardo Bally. I'm the school director for SafeRide Driving Academy. And we're out here today at the SafeRide CDL Training and Testing Center in Los Fresnos, Texas. And today we're going to show you how to perform a proper pre-trip inspection on a Class A vehicle specifically for Hotshots, the 2023 Modernized version. One of the things I highly recommend you guys to use is the checklist that's provided to you in the SafeRide study guide and also provided to you on the Texas DPS student manual for CDL. The first thing we're going to be doing on our pre-trip inspection is our hydraulic brake test. So, first we're going to turn the vehicle on. When we turn the key, we're going to check our ABS light is working properly, turns on and off. Turn the vehicle back on. And for the hydraulic brake test, what you're going to do is you're going to pump the brake pedal 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Once you press the third pump, you're going to leave it pressed for 5 seconds. During those 5 seconds, that brake pedal should not move. You're going to count to 5. 1, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. So the brake pedal did not move or sink, therefore it's working properly. Now the next step is going to be the tug test. So the next step is going to be the tug test. So to start off the tug test, we're going to activate our parking brakes, right here, the parking brake pedal. If you have a lever, make sure you activate it as well. Then we're going to put it on drive, release the brakes, service brakes, and as you can see, the vehicle did not move, so therefore my parking brakes is working properly. Put the vehicle back on park, release your parking brakes or emergency brakes. Then you're going to check your service brakes. Put the vehicle in drive, and drive about 5 miles an hour, and you will firmly and smoothly press on your service brakes. So as you can see, vehicle did stop, so therefore my service brakes is working properly. Now I will then check my trailer brakes. So then I will keep my vehicle in drive, remove my service brakes, and when the vehicle starts to move, I will activate my trailer brakes. As you can see, my vehicle did stop, so therefore my trailer service brakes are working properly. Put the vehicle back in park and say this concludes my tug test. Next off is my lighting indicators. I will check my left indicator is working properly. My right indicator is working properly. Four-way flashers or hazard lights are working properly. Also, my high beam indicator is working properly, right there in the bottom. Now, this vehicle is not equipped with DEF, with DEF, so therefore I don't have to mention it. But if your vehicle is equipped with DEF, make sure you do mention the lighting indicator for the DEF system, and also make sure that it's in safe operating levels as well. For my emergency equipment, I have my spare electrical fuses available, and then I have my reflective triangles and also my fire extinguisher available. The fire extinguisher is securely mounted, not broken, cracked, or loose, not leaking, and it's in safe operating level in the green. Okay, next up is my windshield. My windshield is properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose. Also, no illegal stickers and clean and clear. Then we move on to our mirrors. Our mirrors are properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, clean and clear, and adjusted properly to my line of sight. My mirrors are, just so you know, they're also referred to as traffic monitoring devices as well. Next off, we have our wipers. They're properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. Our blades are not cut, ripped, or torn. And also we have our washers are working properly as well. Okay, next off we have our heater and we have our defrost. It's working properly. We can feel it here. Then we have our horn. It's working properly as well. Next step is we're going to check the light operations check. We're going to ask the examiner to help us to go outside, and we're going to tell him to check the front lights first. We're going to put the left indicator, the right indicator, the four-way flashers, headlights, high beams, and also check the clearance lights as well. Then we're going to ask the examiner to go to the back and also check the left indicator, the right indicator, four-way flashers, brake lights, and clearance lights as well. Note that every time you check off a light, you have to make sure that you point to the direction or yell it out to the examiner. Otherwise, you will not get the point for those lights. After we're done with the interior part of the vehicle inspection, we're going to go outside and check our clearance lights. Our clearance lights on top, they're properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. And they're also in the proper color amber once they're on. Also, we have our headlights. They're properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. They're clean and clear. We have our high beam and a low beam bolt present as well. And then we have our signal lights on both sides. They're in the proper color amber, and they're used for the left indicator, right indicator, and the four-way flashers. Next off, we're going to check our coolant, or all our fluids. We have our coolant reservoir. It is properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. The cap is on tight. It is at safe operating levels, and it's not leaking. Any hoses attached to the coolant reservoir appear to be connected properly, not broken, cracked, or loose, not cut, ripped, or torn, and also connected properly with clamps, and they're not leaking. Then we're going to go to our engine oil dipstick, which is right here. Engine oil dipstick, the way we check our oil is we would take that dipstick out, clean it, insert it back in, take it out, and check to see that it's in safe operating levels above the add line. Then we have our hydraulic fluid. Hydraulic fluid, it is properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. It is it is safe operating levels, and also the cap is on tight and it's not leaking. Any hoses attached to it as well, they're connected properly, not broken, cracked, or loose, not cut, ripped, or torn, and they don't appear to be leaking as well. Then next off, we have our power steering reservoir. It is properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. The cap is on tight, it is at safe operating levels, and it's not leaking. Any hoses attached to the power steering reservoir, they seem to be properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, not cut, ripped, or torn, and they're connected properly with clamps, and there appears to be no leaks as well. So next up is going to be our steering system. Our steering system, you can't see it from there, but we have our gearbox. It is properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. It is not leaking, and any hoses attached to it from the power steering reservoir, it is properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and also not leaking and connected properly with clamps. And then we have our steering linkage. It is also there. You can't see it from your angle, but it is properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and secured with castle nuts and cotter pins, and also joints and sockets also appear to be properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. So for the tire components, we're going to talk about the tread. It is seems to be an original tire, no recaps, no regrooves, no less than 4/32 of an inch of tread depth. For the tire wall, it is properly mounted and secured to the rim. There's no abrasions, bumps, or cuts, not cut, ripped, or torn, and also it's not leaking in the air. Then we have our rim. Our rim is properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and also not bent, no illegal welds. Our lug nuts inside this cap, it is properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and no rust or shiny metal shavings indicating that they would be loose. Inside of that area as well, we have our hubcap or hub seal. It is properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, not leaking any oil, and it's at safe operating level as well. Then we're going to go off to our suspension. Our suspension, we have our spring mounts. They appear to be properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. And we have our springs as well. It's also properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. And accompanied by the shock absorber as well. And again, properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. Mounted properly from top to bottom and not leaking any hydraulic oil as well. Then inside we have our brake lines and ABS lines are properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, not cut, ripped, or torn, not leaking any hydraulic oil. And inside also we have our brake pads and brake drums. They appear to be properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and no contaminants, meaning no oil or grease on them as well. For our battery seems to be properly mounted and secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and it's connected properly, and the wires are not cut, ripped, or torn, and there appears to be no acid or corrosion leaking from the batteries as well. Then we have our traffic monitoring devices, which is our mirror. Our mirror bracket appears to be properly mounted secure, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. The mirror is clean and clear, and also is adjusted properly to my line of sight or to the driver's line of sight. We have our lenses, our signal lights. They're properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. Proper color, amber for the bulb as well. Used for left indicator, right indicator, and your four-way flashers. Right here in the back, we have our mid marker light and our rear marker light. They're properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. And they're in the proper color amber and red when the light is turned on. In here, we have our fuel gauge, or our fuel cap and our fuel tank on the bottom. It is properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. The fuel tank is secured properly with brackets and it's not leaking. The fuel cap, it is properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. It also has a safety chain and the rubber seal is intact as well. Okay, next up we have our frame or our chassis. It is properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, not bent, and there is no illegal welds. Now for the frame for our trailer, we're going to look at our cross members. They're properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, all of them. Not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and not bent. We also have our floorboard. It appears to be properly mounted secure, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and no holes on it as well. Now for our coupling devices, this is a bumper pull trailer. For a bumper pull, we're going to be checking off our electric lines first. Our electric lines appear to be properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, not cut, ripped, or torn, and not dragging over the ground. Also the connector and the plug appears to be also connected properly as well. Then we have our tow hitch. Our tow hitch is properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, secured properly with the locking pins as well. We have our, as well, the tongue and coupler. It is properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and not bent, no illegal welds as well on this area. Also secured properly with the safety catch. For safety devices, we have our breakaway cable. It is properly mounted secured, connected properly as well, not cut, ripped, or torn, not frayed, and it is connected properly also to our truck. Our safety chains, they're also connected properly, not broken, cracked, or loose. None of them are cracked, and they're connected properly in a crisscross position, the hooks are facing outward as well. So this is a gooseneck trailer. So this is the differences between the gooseneck and a bumper pull. So for the coupling devices for a gooseneck trailer is going to be, we're going to talk about first the electric lines. The electric lines are properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, not cut, ripped, or torn. There's not taped and there's no wires exposed on them as well. And they're connected properly onto the connector as well. The plug is connected properly to the connector. It's properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, and no missing nuts or bolts on the connector as well. Then we're going to talk about the pintle hook. The pintle hook, which is right here, pintle hook is properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, in the lock position as well. Then we have our hitch release lever right here. Our hitch release lever is also properly mounted secure, not broken, cracked, or loose, not bent, and is also in the locked position into the pintle hook. The turnover ball, you really can't see it from there, but it's what connects into the pintle hook. Our turnover ball is properly mounted secure, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and it's not welded. And there's also the pintle hook is securely mounted and in the lock position around the turnover ball. Our sliding pintle, which is the whole thing right here. Sliding pintle is properly mounted secure, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and it's also in the lock position as well with these bolts as well. Our safety devices, we have our safety chains. They're properly mounted secure, not broken, cracked, or loose, and they're in the proper position, in the crisscross position, with the hooks facing outward as well. We have also our breakaway cable. Our breakaway cable is properly mounted secure, connected into the truck, not broken, cracked, or loose, not cut, ripped, or torn, and it's secured properly as well. Our tongue. This is our tongue. It is properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, not bent, nor illegal welds as well. Okay, so now for our landing gear. Our landing gear is properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. The landing gear pads are all the way up. And you want to make sure, well, this one doesn't have a crank handle, it's an electric landing gear. But you do want to make sure that for a gooseneck or any other landing gear that is a crank handle, you want to make sure that you want to say that it is securely mounted onto the hook. Now for a gooseneck, it has 2 landing gears. You want to make sure also that you will check both landing gears so that they're all the way up and they will not crash, and your truck will not crash into your landing gear when you make any turns. So it has enough clearance. And for the rear of the vehicle, we have, or the trailer, we have our lights are properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts. They're in the proper color red. And these lights serve as a left indicator, right indicator, 4-way flashers, running lights, and also stop lights as well. We also have our clearance lights on top. They're properly mounted secured, not broken, cracked, or loose, no missing nuts or bolts, and they're also in the proper color red. In the back, we have our reflective tape, or DOT tape, is properly mounted secured all around the bumper and also around the trailer as well. Hi, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it very useful. And if you did, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so that way you don't miss out on any of our other educational videos pertaining CDL. Again, thank you.